Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Game Day Preview Show. We got 8 games here on a Tuesday on DraftKings. It's 10 or 11 if you're over on the FanDuel slate. Got a full day over there. NBA in-season tournament day. Is it the final day of the
group stage? Yep, group stage. There's a lot of they released all the like the what ifs, who wins, and what the Celtics need the Magic to lose by like 35 or more to advance, or whatever the case is. There's like a whole bunch of scenarios where, depending on who wins is I got it right next to me when we get to it. But yeah, in-season tournament, final day of group stage, that will decide the rest of both conferences.
Fun. Pretty big slate in terms of top talent. Giannis, Luka, Wemby, SGA all on the slate. Cade, Wagner, Lillard up over 9K. Towns $9,200. Donnie Mitch, Kyrie Irving. So star-studded here when it comes to talent. You and I were sort of looking over the slate. Some players that their prices haven't moved. Some players that have had their price jump up. I think the roster construction for this slate can go a lot of different ways, as we were sort of figuring out as well. So it should be pretty interesting to see come that first ownership run where the field is looking to get to. I didn't really see a ton of good value on the slate. There's a couple of places that we can go, but for the most part, as these teams are getting healthier, those options that we were plugging in earlier kind of go away. So will be, again, something interesting to see where the ownership is during our first round of ownership there.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just looking at some of these scenarios, John, for the Emirates NBA Cup, there are still like a bunch of teams alive. It's kind of insane. Like some of these, I'm just not gonna get into it in like the scenarios on the show, but most of these teams are still alive. Most, not all, some. But there are a lot of scenarios. The West is a nightmare to figure out. The East kind of seems pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit Pistons can clinch their group with a win over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Orlando Magic or the Knicks will clinch their group with a win, and they play each other in this slate. So there's like a lot of different scenarios. The Celtics clinch if they win and the Knicks lose, but if the Orlando loses, they have to lose by more than 37 for Boston to clinch. So a lot of scenarios. We're going to see big minutes out of some of these teams, I'd expect, with the way that, teams need wins and whatnot. Not a lot of value, as you mentioned. There will be value. If Monday told us anything, you never know what the slate is going to bring by the time roster lock comes and how much value is going to be there. So whether or not there's value for us now, that value may very well open up later. So it is definitely an interesting looking slate, just, surface level while we're recording at, 10 p.m. Eastern time. But there's about, let's say 20 hours until roster lock. So a lot can break from now until then, including something in my background.
If nothing else, there is one value that we're going to talk about. And that is a Cyber Monday deal that we have going on here at Fantasy.
You are good at this, man.
50% off the monthly subscription through 2026. That is $19.98 a month. Promo code CM24. Go to fantasyalarm.com/cyber. You can scan that QR code there on the screen, or again, go to fantasyalarm.com/cyber. Promo code CM24 should automatically be entered into the promo field. Hit that enter button, enter your payment information, and you get 50% off the monthly All-Pro subscription. That's access to all sports, access to Discord, access to all of our tools, our lineup generator, all DFS playbooks, draft guides, cheat sheets, you name it. We cover it here over at Fantasy Alarm. NBA, MMA, PGA, MLB, NFL, NHL. Again, whatever we cover over on Fantasy Alarm, taken care of here. Cyber Monday week is all week long. FantasyAlarm.com/cyber. That value play aside, Grande, let's get into the slate.
You're good at this. Let
Thanks.
me tell you.
Luka Doncic, 11K, came back, looked a lot like Luka. No Kyrie Irving in that game certainly helped, but 72.25 for fantasy points for him there. $11,000. 36, 7, 13 for Luka in 36 minutes. So wrist injury, non-existent. He was amazing. SGA, 10-3. Awesome. Been great. 36 minutes for him. 54 fantasy points. The run of 30-point games for him are back. This is basically the SGA we saw last year. We knew when Chet went down, he was going to take on a bigger offensive role. He's taken that on. Cade Cunningham's been a double-double machine. Got it again against Indiana. He was a late scratch the other day. Really hurt a lot of lineups who weren't able to pivot away. Hurt us because we pivoted to Jaden Ivey, who never got back into that game at low rostership. But we got 97 against Cade against Milwaukee. Feels like a really good spot. You got Dame, Mitchell, and Irving there to round out the 9K tier.
Yeah, I mean, Luka looked great, and all the talk out of Dallas camp was like, what's going to happen with Luka when he comes back? Are you guys going to keep playing as fast as you've played? Because Dallas was playing extremely fast. And Jason Kidd was like, yeah, we are. Look how good we're playing. And he said, Luka's going to have to adjust to how we're playing. And then they went out and scored 137 points. So I would say that Luka understood the assignment, and they continued to play fast and no defense, but they scored 130 points for the second straight game. Definitely, if you can get to Luka, comfortable getting there. Definitely, if you get to SGA, comfortable getting there. He's been great, and the price is going down. So, he is unstoppable on both ends of the floor. The 3-point volume, as the league shifts, he's realized he needs it too. But 7+ threes in 4 straight games, if we're going to get that type of 3-point volume, while the free throws remain consistent, then, he has an elite ceiling. Cade has been great if you just want to get like Luka and SGA for a discount, essentially. That's what Cade has been providing. I would say the other two have obviously given us the higher ceiling in terms of scoring nightly. I mean, SGA has scored 30 plus more in the last week than Cade has this year. But he has been just as good, if not better, peripherally. I mean, the assists have been elite, the rebounds have been elite. So if you want to get to Cade for a little bit cheaper, by all means. I like Damian Lillard. I keep saying it to you, like the Miami game aside, where he's like team to himself. I guess it is worth mentioning. I know Giannis is probable, but they are specifically listing it with a stomach illness that he was unable to practice with on Monday. So it is worth keeping an eye on. And with illnesses, as we've seen, like if it is impacting him at all in the game, Dame played 40 and 38 minutes in the last 2 games and went 57 and 66 fantasy points. I don't think it's at all a coincidence that this team has won 8 of its last 9 games and is over 500, right? And like are soon to get Chris Middleton back. Damian Lillard is at the forefront of that. We've been saying that for a couple weeks now, how good he's looked, scoring and peripherally. So I have no issues getting to Dame. He's going to be low owned per usual. Donovan Mitchell obviously has a massive ceiling. That fourth quarter against Boston was pretty magical. All the step back threes, where he's just an elite basketball player. That's really what it comes down to. You can definitely get to him, and not as inclined to get to Kyrie at 9K with Luka back, but we in tournament, he has a ceiling.
Yeah. I'll say that, the one thing that's also helping sort of Milwaukee is even against bad teams, they're not really blowing them out, right? Washington, 10-point game. Charlotte was a 6-point game there.
Yep.
So if they're not playing good enough defense to blow any teams out, they're certainly not going to blow Detroit out. So you have, Lillard in a spot where they'll be competitive with. Under 9K is also a really strong group of plays. Morant has came back. He's 8,700. Maybe a tougher spot for Brunson, but $8,500 for him. Booker's been good at 89. Scotty Barnes at 83. Maxey at 82. I mean, like Barnes and Maxey are two of my favorite plays. Probably on the board today overall.
Yeah, Scotty. I mean, I don't know how many times you and I we're gonna sit here and scream. Truthfully, this is gonna be a slate that he finally gets ownership, right? 8,300 point guard, small forward, elite matchup. People are just finally realizing, like, okay, maybe the last 5 slates were real, and like we got to play them because everything is great. The usage is great. 3-point volume outside of last game, great. The rebounds and assists. I mean, he's been just shy of a triple double in 4 straight games, and 3 of them have resulted in 20 plus points. So there's really nothing he can't do, and this is a great spot. So yes, Scotty Barnes, elite. Tyrese Maxey. We've said, I mean, knowing Nick Nurse, as soon as like the reins were taken off of Tyrese Maxey, all systems go. And even with Paul George, being on the floor, 35 minutes, 24 shots, 28 points in a blowout, in a game that, went to overtime, sure, but he played 45 minutes the game prior in Houston. I mean, it's hard not to love Maxey at this price, Paul George active or not. And I don't think it hurts him, truthfully, to have Jared McCain coming off the bench, because that's just one less high usage player that he has to deal with, at least like in the start of the first and start of the third, if they're like going to stagger their minutes as best as they can.
I agree. Under 8K, any plays? I mean, obviously some of these guys are starting to be priced up a little bit. I always like Suggs, 64. Washington, Cleveland is probably going to be kind of a blowout there. Garland and Poole. Again, I mentioned McCain's coming off the bench now. Kelly George has been Chris Paul's been good at 6K. And they're getting healthier on this one. What do we think we're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I'm interested in Cleveland if Washington is at all competitive. Garland really good against Boston, really good against Atlanta in back-to-back games. I'm honestly interested in Jordan Poole. Dude, Jordan Poole's been great outside of like a few games, one being the Clippers. Okay, sure. Move on from that. I mean, Jordan Poole was 10 for 23 with 31 and 7 against the Bucks last game. He had a 50 bomb. So, no Kuzma for Washington. If Jordan Poole gets hot, Cleveland, sure, it's Cleveland, but like Jordan Poole also has a very high ceiling with no Kuzma. So, if you're playing multiple lineups, I don't hate like playing some pieces in this game. Washington in general, I think, no pun intended, they're not the Washington Generals, but like it is without Kuzma, there's a lot more to like, especially if they go back to that double big lineup where you have Valanciunas, Sarr, and then Brogdon, Poole, or like that's 4 of your starters. Like that's a formidable-ish lineup, right? That was competitive with Milwaukee. I'm not saying Milwaukee and Cleveland are the same teams right now, but if Jordan Poole shoots his way into, like he did last game, I mean, he can keep them in it. I don't mind Suggs. The Knicks are definitely worse defensively than they are. Like they're very good offensively, very, very bad defensively.
Yeah.
You were right about Keontae. Like that's kind of my thoughts on Utah in general right now. Everything is just with the way they're coached and everything too. But Chris Paul, yeah, I mean, they're winning a lot. And I think one of the scenarios they can win, John, they win the group if they win this game. They win the group that has OKC and Phoenix, and I believe the Lakers in this group. I mean, that's crazy, no? Like the Spurs, I was very high on the Spurs. I don't think I like expect them to be this good right off the bat.
Sure.
But I was high on them because I think Chris Paul is that dude that Wemby pairs with perfectly. If we're going to get anywhere close to 34 minutes from Chris Paul, which obviously is going to happen not a lot. It's only happened twice from what I just saw. If he's anywhere near that number, then he's a great play. because there's
Sure.
obvious upside.
Yeah, agreed. Working our way down the list here. Obviously, pricing starts to jump down. Brogdon got 30 minutes in that last game, so seemingly minutes cap risen for him, which they need. They need that against Cleveland here. And he's a great. I didn't see 11 rebounds coming out of him, but good to see. With Phoenix, Bradley Beal's probable, so probably give a hit to Tyus there at 58. I don't think I can pay the $5,800. Tyus has been really good, but
he has been.
Beal being back just changes the equation. He was finally looking like the point guard we thought he would be.
Yes.
But again, I feel like when Beal is back, like he's not really on the ball as much. They just kind of move it around a little bit. So I'll have to peel back on the Tyus plays there. Micic is one that we talked about and highlighted. We're like, they're not really doing much with the price point here. Still going to be their starting point guard.
Yep.
Going to play a lot of minutes.
Yep.
Can you popular value play on a slate that, at least for now, doesn't have a lot of obvious value?
Yes, and yes. I mean, 15.5 potential assists in his 2 starts, Sean. So we're talking about a guy that has double upside. He's a very skilled. I believe when OKC got him, he was the reigning European Player of the Year. I forget what is the league over. What's the most popular league over there?
He was in the EuroLeague.
The EuroLeague. I think he was the Player of the Year.
He was the EuroLeague MVP in 2021.
Yeah, the year that he went to OKC, or like the following year, he had just previously won. And I had thought
2023 was his first year in OKC.
Okay, so there was a year in. Okay, so a year in between.
He was the Turkish Super League Finals MVP in 2023.
Okay.
This guy is a super decorated champion. He has won championships all over Europe.
And also won the bronze medal with Serbia in the Olympics.
2-time EuroLeague Finals leading scorer.
I mean, he's 4,500.
2022 EuroLeague top scorer.
Yeah,
so,
dude.
So that was what it was. The year before he joined, he was the leading scorer in the EuroLeague.
Just went to a team that had SGA, drafted Josh Giddey, drafted Jalen Williams, drafted Chet Holmgren.
Well, remember, there were reports like 3 weeks ago he was trying to negotiate out of his contract to go back to Europe because he was just sitting on the bench in Charlotte, watching, whatever Charlotte was putting on the floor, playing over him, being like, what are we doing here?
This is not fun.
No, and now he's a starting point guard for the next couple of weeks. So, and maybe he finds himself, listen, Lonzo wants to be traded. Apparently, they're tweeting out Instagram photos of him and LaMelo together. Like
they are. Yep.
Would you get a Micic for Lonzo flip going? And not that Chicago needs more. What if it was Vucevic and Lonzo going to Charlotte? Charlotte finally gets their center,
Mark Williams,
that they've so longed for.
I want Mark Williams.
Maybe, yeah. Just saying. Bulls are selling. Anyways, Micic is really good. Not a lot of value in the slate. Lock him in.
Yeah. Yes.
Can always play McBride off the bench. Know that there's a floor, but he can go and give you 20 plus as a scorer for New York. Probably not the greatest matchup. Slow pace. I don't know what the game total is, but I would venture to say it's under 210.
It is 214.5.
Ooh, it's higher than most Orlando games.
Lowest number on the board is Philadelphia and Charlotte, 208.
Okay. Interesting.
We have 2 games, 3 games. That's not on the main slate. Memphis, Dallas is 240.5. Indiana, Toronto is 239.5. Washington, Cleveland, 236, but it's a 16-point spread in that one.
I know that this is an NBA show, but I just want to make note of something that's happening in this football game right now. Bo Nix just threw a 93-yard touchdown pass to Marvin Mims. In the very next play, Jameis Winston threw a 70-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
One play, 70 yards.
I saw Jerry Jeudy did a backflip, or he did a backwards fall, a trust fall.
This game is exactly as we expected a Jameis Winston game to go.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the NBA slate. I'm obviously a little behind on things, but that was just wild that was what's going on there. Any other point guards?
No, let's go to shooting guard.
All right, shooting guard here. Donnie Mitch talked about 91. Again, nothing against Book. I mean, Book at 89.
He's been
guys
great.
balling out.
He's been
Guys
so
great.
good.
Yeah, I mean, again, Beal coming back, but Beal's not going to go play 35 out of the gate, I don't think. Like, he'll probably have some maybe minor limitations, but that takes us to Mr. 30 shot, Brandon Miller. One 30 shot guy goes down with an injury, and then Brandon Miller just picks up that mantle. It's like, hey, I'll take all the shots. That's fine. Like, Micic's 15 and a half potential assists. They're all going right here. He's probably just bringing the ball up, throwing to Miller, who's coming off of a screen, and Miller's just launching a three. Those are probably the attempted assists half the time.
I was looking at 7 for 19 to see if he had a 7 for 19 field goal attempt game this year, but he had an 8 for 19, but 7 for 19 from 3 last game for Brandon Miller. I mean, doesn't matter how many go in if you're taking 30. That was my point about LaMelo, right? It doesn't, because if he went for 10 for 30 and scored 56 fantasy points, like it truly, if you're taking 30 shots, you're taking 30 shots, and anyone who's taking 30 shots would be closer to 10K than they are $8,000. So shooting guard, small forward, elite eligibility, game environment obviously sucks, but two bad teams, and one of them has a guy taking 30 shots. Like, I'm gonna play some Brandon Miller for sure.
Yeah, it is pretty wild to see what you got going on there. Again, Bane at $7,300. I don't think I got myself there with Moran likely playing more minutes. I mean, we know how bad Halliburton is on the road. Mathurin's kind of been good and bad, good on the road as he is at home. I don't know if a 7K Mathurin, like Indiana's, someone has to score points for them in this game. Right?
240 implied points.
So if it's not going to be Halliburton due to his horrific road stats, Siakam and Mathurin, the two, like, what do we think here?
Siakam in Toronto.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Mathurin is there. So
Indiana is favored in this game, by the way. 240 implied points. Indiana giving a 1.5. So
that's what I'm saying. So like somebody scoring points for the Pacers or Vegas is very off here. And
I mean, obviously, I would prefer if Nembhard doesn't play. He came back, only played 15 minutes the other day, but he was so good in those 15 minutes, and like, I just don't want him to be there, because then we get Quentin Jackson, who just like really is not on the floor for offense.
He started the second half, but he only played 10 minutes in that game.
Yeah, he started the second half. I mean, they only played Nembhard 15 minutes. He was on a strict limit, and then now Nembhard's back to being questionable. So, they also played TJM like 20 plus.
Yeah,
but TJM's 5K. I'm okay with Mather. 7K is a little expensive, but I haven't looked at Siakam's price. $600 more. I'd rather just spend $600 more to get to Siakam, probably.
Yeah, that's fine. No arguments here. Next here, Sexton, Beasley, Bridges. Beasley obviously has been really good for us. Playing minutes even with Cade back. Would you pay 61 for him?
Revenge narrative.
Is that a yeah?
Revenge narrative, John. Hurrah.
You love a good revenge narrative.
Yeah, totally. It's my favorite thing.
But he's also just been good. So.
He has been good. He's been good. That's correct. I mean, I'm fine with it. I like Oubre 53. I think it's interesting if they're going to start him. He was really good the other day. Vassell got extended. Marcus Smart's been really good off the bench for Memphis. The minutes have been a little inconsistent for Smart, but 46, 30, and 27 fantasy points for Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been super good off the bench for them. Jalen Wells has also been really good in the starting lineup. I don't think his starts are just pretty secure, but there's nothing else. It's not a good value.
It's not a good value here. Again, not a lot of value on the slate in general. Wagner $9,600 here. Continues.
John, actually, I want to take that back.
Okay.
You know who's shooting the ball really well? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I meant to say that. I forgot. $4,300. could not make a shot until he started to make shots.
Sure.
And we have known for a long time that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is like a 40% three-point shooter. And if this is going to be the type of volume that we consistently see where he's when he's making shots and it gets up near double figures, I have a lot of interest there. Just given, one, he's going to play a lot of minutes. Two, he has a very good ceiling when he makes shots. I mean, the steals, he's an elite defender with decent peripherals and honestly with not a lot of value. If you get KCP on a night where he's making 4+ threes, I mean, there is a ceiling at $4,300.
Dude, remember those Detroit Piston days, man?
But that was like ceiling. That was like legit. Like I have a 4-story house ceiling,
Yeah.
Not just like, well, I have an attic. And you can take the ladder. You have to like jump up to the ladder to get to, but like I do have an attic. That's where we are right now. But back in those days,
those were the days, man.
We had there was an elevator. There was an elevator to go upstairs.
Yeah, always talked about. I think we one time wrote a GPP strategy article for like our draft guide, and we used like KCP as like the example of a GPP play.
I think so too.
It's like he can go hit 7 threes, or he can go 0 for 8. Like you never know which way it's going to go with KCP here. Almost the same thing, but obviously he's older and doesn't shoot nearly as much anymore. But still good. All right, small forward. Again, Wagner's there, $9,600 on that same team. He's been great outside of that one Chicago game where he let us all down. 38 fantasy points in that game. But other than that, been legit. We like Scotty Barnes. Miller, we talked about that. RJ Barrett popped off 37 actual for RJ Barrett here. Him and Scotty Barnes playing the 2-man game right now.
Dude, he's been great.
When does Quickly come back? Like ever? Does he ever?
He has broken bones.
I know. Our underdog teams could use a little.
We could. We sure could. Yeah. I mean, dude, if this is the type of product, like obviously we're not expecting RJ to go 37, but like he almost triple doubled. Then he had 25, 7, and 6. Then he drops 37. There's a lot of different ways he's doing it, and on top of that, 39 and 38 minutes. So if you can't get to Scotty and you need to save $400, hey, guess what? RJ Barrett's just a fine option.
240 total.
Yeah, 240 total. Yep.
And a 1-point spread. So, like, some loving's going to be going on in that Indy Toronto ownership there.
Yes.
Not a lot of cheap options in that game, really, either, for the main players. So, will be interesting. Again, talk PG is 75. He got back 26 minutes in that return game. We assumed he was going to be limited. Probably gets maybe a little bit of a bump, like 30 minutes at most here. Would you go there?
That was kind of what it was, right? He went from 25 to 33 the last time. So, you follow that
they
lot.
didn't really want to play him that many minutes. So
and then they didn't. And then they played him 32, 36, 33, and then he got hurt again. So, yeah, you're probably right. I think that's like a safe number, 30. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It's the worst total on the board.
Yeah,
don't need to do it.
Again, I don't really care for the tier. I mean, I don't like going against Orlando. They play slow, and but Hart and OG are here. Laurie versus OKC. I don't really want to play that. 72 is a good number for Laurie Markkanen, but I don't want to do it against the Thunder. Koulibaly's going to play a lot of minutes, but Cleveland matchup. Like, what do we do? Do we wait to see if Clay is out? We play Grimes again? Like, where's the?
When does this stop?
I don't know.
When does this? Thank God Kyrie's coming back. Please, please get Clay back. I don't want to do this anymore.
Why? You just keep playing him. He keeps being awesome. Now he's $1,000 more expensive than he was the other day.
That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't he a first round pick by the Knicks?
Yeah, but
all right. We get him out of Tibbs' system, get him in a spot that's playing quick. And listen, how is he supposed to play when he played on a team where the starters played 40 minutes?
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen. Like, if it's just Clay out, right? Kyrie, Luka.
No Najee, though.
No, he's not getting shots. He's not getting shots.
All right.
He was able to get shots because Luka was like, all right, I can score 40, but I don't have Kyrie, so I can still dish. Now it's like, all right, Kai, you take the ball. No, Luka, you take the ball.
Do you think we see him go back down to like 9 shots and not 6?
9 shots, 24 minutes because they go triple guard and use Dinwiddie for 30.
Well, So Sohan's back. What do we do with Champagny here? Like,
Yeah, I think
he was starting with them before, but now Vassell is back. Like,
the Spurs have a depth problem.
Yeah.
So
like too many guys.
So assuming that Sohan starts, because he had started and he had been amazing, it's Wemby, Sohan, Chris Paul.
Yeah. Champagny
Castle. And Penny had been starting.
Yep.
And Harry B.
Harry B, yeah, that's true.
But do they go that size? Do one of those people now go to the bench? Because that's a lot of size. Eventually, Devin Vassell is going to start. He played 24 minutes last game.
He played on theirs. He was their sixth man for a lot of last year, wasn't he? Or did he start?
It was the same scenario. He was coming back from injury and then
that's
remember they moved Keldon to the bench as their sixth man?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
they still have Keldon.
They still have. Dude, they have a serious problem. So like, I understand where you're coming from with Champagny. I'm not like totally against it because even with Sohan back, I don't think he's gonna just like, hey, welcome back. You're at 37 today. Even I know it wasn't like an injury that should cause him time away from the floor. Also, Jeremy Sohan being center only is a little crazy, but yeah, I mean, I if Champagny's starting, you need him to make shots because if people are not making shots, they have a lot of options to go to, right? They have a ton of wings.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, you have that obviously. Then we go down. You mentioned the low game total, but like Green and Martin were two decent like value options.
Yeah.
That's because there's nobody else there. They're both playing really well. They're both scoring. They're both hitting their shots. Average players, but they're just getting the opportunity purely based on volume. Agbaji, 32 minutes. Yep. I mean, you want to talk a cheap way to get exposure to this game. He's still 4,900 though. It's not like he's the 44, 47. So, it's not like a great price to pay for him here, but he's going to be on the floor at least.
Yeah, I wish the price was like $400 to $700 cheaper, somewhere in that range, because then I'd be definitely more comfortable getting there.
Right. So, like, I don't know. What do we do with the value? Is there value at small forward?
I don't really like any of it. Aaron Wiggins played 27 minutes, but like it's very hard to predict that stuff. Like it's nearly impossible to pick anything out of OKC and be like, this is going to be.
I guess it could be Ricky Council if Martin's out again. Back-to-back 27-minute games here.
It could be Ricky Council. And, like obviously he has been really efficient the last two games.
Yep. Almost the exact stat line, but a random 10 rebound game.
I was going to say he also had 10 rebounds in that game. I think I would have to do like more digging on that. Just like what were the potentials looking like? Because, to your point, Drummond was in the first game, wasn't in the second one. So he still grabbed 5 rebounds. Yabusele is a good rebounder. I wouldn't say like Drummond vacuum like. Paul George is a good rebounder, but they're small to begin with, right? Like no Caleb Martin. I mean, Caleb Martin as their starting power forward is small.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre as their power forward is small. Like that's a small lineup. KJ Martin played all those minutes after Drummond went down.
So Ricky Council played the entire fourth quarter of that game. They went Martin, Ricky Council, KJ Martin, Jared McCain with George and Drummond started that fourth. This is on 11:30 though. What was the last game that they played?
That was not Drummond. That was not Drummond. Oubre.
Oh yeah, here, Oubre. So like they're Eric Gordon. I'm reading the fourth quarter. So the fourth quarter started George, Gordon, KJ Martin, Council, and McCain. And Council played the entire fourth, but he did check in at the end of the first and played most of the second quarter. Really, he subbed out for like a 3-minute span. I mean, back-to-back games of minutes there.
Just looking at that, okay.
Yeah.
Just like seeing him check back in. Paul George picked up his
second quarter against Houston too.
Paul George picked up his third foul in that second quarter, and he checked in for Paul George. So, I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm just also mentioning that 4:30 of that second quarter probably would have gone to Paul George.
Sure.
And then when they're winning, they won that fourth quarter. I mean, that was the game we complained about Ivy never checking back in, right?
Yeah.
So they were up by 20. I think and I think the game prior in the Houston, those were obviously real. I mean,
Yeah.
he played a bunch of it.
No George in that game.
But no George in that game. So I think it's a little bit of a facade.
Okay.
Like you could very well be right. But we also didn't see what Paul George's minutes could be without looking at it before even knowing it. He lost all that time in the first half because of foul trouble.
Yeah,
and he lost
that Houston game. Andre Drummond played most of that game, 30 minutes. Now he's out. Gershon starts at center. Like there's just who was playing power forward in that game. Started at power forward, Yabusele did in that game.
True.
So,
and now in the second game, KJ Martin shifts to all those power forward minutes. And
yeah.
I would say Caleb Martin probable here.
Okay.
By the way.
So, all that talk maybe for none, but
yeah.
Tried to find some value for us here.
Good talk. It's good. It's good. That's the process, right? I mean,
do we go back?
No.
Okay. I think Filipowski is coming back too, right, in that game?
He is out. No, he's out. Him and Clarkson's still out. I think Filipowski's an injury management thing though, so I think or like cardio, so I think he's like probably the next game after that.
All right. Well, we'll figure out some value. Power forward. Giannis is 12K against Detroit. As you mentioned, probable illness knee. Last time he played, 42-point triple-double. So, you know what you're dealing with.
Leading the league in scoring, no biggie.
J-Dub, 8,800, really good. Still really good.
Really good.
Hartenstein certainly probably cutting into a little bit of him.
Yes. I mean, when you're playing with a guy who's scoring 30 plus every night and the other guy is grabbing 15 rebounds, there's, you know.
I think KD is underpriced, 8,600.
Agreed, especially for full minutes.
Yeah.
We're back to getting full run out of KD, then he's definitely too cheap.
Plus, it was the San Antonio Phoenix games last year that really, Wemby was already on the map, but it was that game against KD and the Suns where he exploded in that game.
I won a tournament that night.
You did with the Wemby minutes.
With the low and Wemby, Wemby play.
Yep. Anyways, like a spot.
That game, by the way, decides that group. Okay. So we're gonna get big minutes.
Mobley 7,800 is a good price. It's a good matchup. It's all about how long they're on the floor for.
Very good at basketball.
Yeah, very good at basketball. Joe J, power forward only. 7,700 house.
Dude, this guy just needs to play more minutes. This is easily the best stretch of his career. Outside of that one random game in Detroit, This is easily the best stretch of his career. This is the best basketball he's ever played.
Yeah.
He's not even playing minutes.
Nope.
They're blowing everybody out. Every game is not competitive. Every game they're playing 12 players, and he's playing better than he's ever played because he's staying out of foul trouble.
The blocks are great. The steals are there.
Scoring, dude, the scoring, he can't be stopped offensively.
If we could just get consistently one more rebound a game.
I know. If he just sits at this 8 though, right? Even if he just sat at 8.
Yeah, give me this every night. Give me between 6 and 8 every night, and I'm good.
Right.
And I get it. He's averaging 5.9 per game, but I want to start seeing that creep up to 6.9 per game.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, unintentionally nice. Siakam, $7,600. We talked about it. For a 240 total to happen, somebody's got to score in Indiana.
They do.
Why not us? Right? Why not?
Why not?
We all played Siakam a few slates ago. I forget if it was the big night or not. I feel like it might have been the good
It was
night
Detroit. No, it was the Detroit. It was the Detroit game.
I might have played him again. We honestly might have. We've played a lot of Siakam this series, so it might have been.
He's cheap. He's been so cheap. Does he not? He's been so cheap this year.
Yeah, he has been really good. I think you're right though, because we talked about playing Scotty Barnes And the only way we could make the lineup work was to pivot off of Barnes to play Siakam. I don't think we pivoted off Barnes, though. I think we kept Barnes in our lineup that night.
We did.
Yeah. Good on us. Sticking to our guns. Anyways, do you like Siakam in this game? 240 total, back to Toronto. We'll have to deal with Scotty Barnes' defense. Or Agbaji defense, which isn't great. But somebody has to score for Indiana for this game to be a 1-point favorite, 240 total. And it's not going to be Ben Shepherd, okay?
Well, he's not. Ben Shepherd's not walking through that door. He's not.
He's out. So
Ben Shepherd's not walking through that door.
Someone's got to score. Darius Walker. Here we go.
Shout out to the Ben Shepherd drop. He's making you mad at 11 p.m. on a Monday.
Can't go through a show without it. John Collins again. Listen. Our usual Utah guys are going to be in really tough spots here. John Collins has been a menace. He's got to deal with Jalen Williams' defense, a 7'8" wingspan, hard side on the glass. Like this is not going to be an easy spot for John Collins here.
Dude, they're like, I saw a tweet earlier today that they're like on pace to be historical good defense. I just, that I'm not usually like, if they were like shorthanded and there was 8 players, it's one thing, but they're pretty healthy. So it's just not an appealing spot at all.
I agree. PJ Washington, as you called out, Luka comes back and the rebounds dried up.
Dude. He doesn't.
It just fell off a cliff here.
Dude, it's not. It's like he sees Luka on the floor. He's like, he's the meme.
He's running back, and Luka's running to the rebound.
Here we go again. That's the meme, right? That's the GTA meme. Like it's like look at everything. The shot volume, the rebounds, like all gone. As soon as Luka comes back. I mean, it's just you can't. It's just very hard to play at $7,000.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, where do we go next?
Aldama's been great.
Aldama 58.
Yeah, Aldama's been great. Yabusele's been great. Sar's going to have a tough time. I do like the 36 minutes in that Bucks game, though. I will say that. That's the most he's played this year. No Kuzma. They played him at the 4, and he played 36. So, 36 minutes is, he has a very high ceiling. So I'd be okay getting to Alex Sarr. Wendell Carter, that just took me by surprise. I know that him and Goga are playing alongside one another, but it took me by surprise seeing him with power forward eligibility. But man, 26 and 28 minutes, he was great to start the year. He's been great since being extended. This is just clearly the lineup they're going to roll with while Paolo is out. And, it's not like Brooklyn plays. They play small ball. They play Dorian Finney-Smith at power forward. So like they can perfectly adapt to the Knicks as well, playing small. So I like Carter. Diabate's absolutely dead. Really hard to get to Keldon if you want.
Yeah.
Really Royce O'Neal, like even in a game where Nurk doesn't play, he only plays 19 minutes, so he's basically dead. Brandon Clark is going to play low 20s minutes. Has a really high rebounding ceiling. Also, like, scored 13 in the game not too long. Like, if he just put those things together, he could go off, but it's hard to trust. Isaac got in massive foul trouble the other day. There's not a lot to like that.
Yeah, I agree. Center.
Iguodaro would be probably the guy I'd mention. I mean, no, Plumlee started, but they just went to Iguodaro. He played 31 minutes. Like, I don't think Plumlee's going to be able to chase Wemby. Not a good Plumlee spot. I'm just going to say that. Like, this could be a Suns going to small ball lineup anyway and just running Durant at the 5 with Wemby. Yeah. But, like, I don't think I'd have a lot more confidence in Iguodaro playing than Plumlee in this game, especially after seeing 31 and 17 split last game.
Sure. Harden's, I don't mean to jump all the way down, but obviously Wemby's here. He was fantastic. He triple-doubled, 80 fantasy points. Towns, $9,200. They just don't touch his price tag here.
Never.
25 minutes in that blowout win against the Pelicans. He had 45 fantasy. He had 19 rebounds in 25 minutes. He's great, right? Tough, slow start. Doesn't matter. Bad matchup, good matchup. It doesn't matter. They don't move his. They just don't move him.
If anything, if there is confidence here,
cheaper than he was the last 4 slates.
The confidence in Towns would be that Brunson's going to be the one dealing with Suggs.
Yeah.
So like run everything through Towns even more
Bogut,
than you already
Bogut's
do.
not sticking with him. Are you out of your mind? Like,
I mean, nobody really can, right? He's too skilled.
Yeah. So Towns is an elite play. Hartenstein though is like he should be more expensive at his price point here. It's 7,300.
They are 15
they are increasing him, but like
15-point favorites.
Yeah.
How many minutes does he play if this game blows out?
28, 25.
I'm throwing a hypothetical. I'm not like
in this game. They won by 8. I mean, it's 32. They won by 21.
Yeah, that's a better one. Not the one that they won by 8. Blew them out.
Okay.
How much did they win by? 8.
Whatever.
Blowout.
Whatever. 32. I said 28. Played 32 minutes. You got 38 fantasy points.
No, I know. That was just funny. That was the one.
Well, the math was.
It was the minutes. It was the minutes.
Compute there. Anyways, Hartenstein's like still a good play. I like it.
Yeah.
Pirtle, $7,200. Again, someone's got to score in these games. He's been really good still, even with everybody back. Miles Turner, someone's got to score in this game. Could very well be him at $6,700. Need the minutes though, right? Plays 38 minutes, great. 28 and 31, not so much. So we'll see what happens, but 67 is a good price tag for him, certainly. Yep. Blocker Kessler's been good, tougher matchup for him. Brolo's been good, 6,500. Gafford could have no Lively at 59. Maybe.
I mean, Gafford's pretty good per minute. I mean, you even saw it last game, right? Look at every game he's played. Yeah. Look at his per minute numbers, like every single game.
Always been this way, even when he was with the Wizards. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, center is like a really good spot. To the Turner point, just circling back there, John. Blowouts in the last 2 games. Not like overly concerned with the minutes. I mean, we saw in the competitive game against Portland, he played a bunch. So not like really that worried. Jared Allen price is so interesting. Not going to get there, but just wanted to point out that it's really interesting, 6,600, especially if Valanciunas is starting.
Sure.
I think he's going to have a pretty good time there. Brolo obviously has a super high ceiling. Hasn't flashed it in a couple games, but we saw it even with Dame and Giannis. I mean, went for 60 with them both on the floor. Like all those plays. I think you're spot on with Gafford for sure. Like 5,900. In theory, like not the most comfortable for a guy who's like always in foul trouble. Luka back, grabs all the rebounds. Suddenly, again, 4 rebounds for Gafford. It's like, what? Hello? You're the center. But if there's no Lively, I mean, he really is super, super high upside play there. I don't think he's as good as like Valanciunas. If Valanciunas is starting though, 5,200. They gave Joe Val. They finally extended him the first. I mean, you look at the games that he's been extended in, like legitimately extended. He played 25 minutes early in the year against Atlanta, goes for 40. Plays 21 minutes against Golden State, 42. Plays 23 minutes against Memphis, 32. He plays 22 minutes against San Antonio, 40. 20 minutes against Detroit, 32. Yeah. Dude, he just needs 20 minutes. And you saw without Kuzma, they went to the starting lineup. And I think what helps is that they were competitive in that last game, where like all these other games they're getting blitzed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kuzma goes out, they start Valanciunas. I know it's a tough spot. I know it's a 16-point spread. I know all that stuff. We're not sitting here thinking he's going to play 38 minutes. Every time he's played 20 plus, he's gone for 32 plus fantasy points every single time, other than the first couple games of the year. So like, just put this man on the floor. This is like the Booby Miles thing. Y'all want to win? Put Booby in, watch Booby spin. You know?
They're like 16-point underdogs in this game.
They are. They are absolutely. That's exactly the number. They're 16-point underdogs, undoubtedly. If Jonas Valanciunas plays 25 minutes in this game, 16-point underdog or not, he's going to get you 35 fantasy points. And at 5,200 on a slate with no value, that's all you need. Like, it doesn't matter if he plays the fourth quarter.
A lot of confidence of a big going up against Allen and Mobley.
Look, I'm not saying that, like,
I'd
I'm
rather
not.
play Wendell Carter for $100 cheap.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Jonas Valanciunas, right? The matchup.
Yeah.
Look at the last two spots. Brook Lopez was the reigning defensive player of the year 2 years ago, and Giannis has a defensive player of the year on his mantle. 16, 7, and 5. And he shot almost 70% from the floor. The game before
we
the
also
Clippers.
acknowledge that Milwaukee is not a good defensive team.
Yes, but specifically to like the point of the Allen and Mobley stuff, like those two specifically aren't a lot different, like in terms of their specific defensive prowess as Giannis, and like the Cavs have like 3 elite perimeter defenders when you're talking like Okoro, Dean Wade, and just those two.
Sure.
But who's Milwaukee's? Andre Jackson, maybe?
Yeah.
So I think, yes.
They played Cleveland once this year. They lost by 19. He played 21 minutes. He did have 20 fantasy points in 21 minutes. So to your point, if he plays a fantasy point per minute and he gets there, he'll get there. So,
and he's well over he's averaged 20 minutes this year, scoring 26 fantasy points.
Sure.
So
again, I think I would lean Wendell Carter over him, 26 and 28 minutes.
Okay.
But I hear all the points that you're saying. But that's good. We're allowed to disagree with each other. Otherwise, it's a boring show. Let us know who you guys think in the comment section. Who are you playing? Should rather play Valanciunas or Wendell Carter? Let us know.
Agreed.
Let us know. We like the comment section active here. We skipped over Yabusele and Richards. We might have mentioned Yabusele, a power forward, but
yeah.
Nick Richards did come back 25 minutes out of the jump. You mentioned he played most of that fourth quarter against Atlanta here. Mark Williams is expected back, but he's going to be on a very heavy minutes limit in this game, so could still be a really good spot here for Nick Richards at 56. Guy was really good.
He was really
to begin that year. So if he's back, I mean, God love Yabusele here, but I think Nick Richards has the advantage in this spot.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I'm a little only reason I'm a little indifferent is because Williams there. I don't know what that means for Diabate.
I feel like Diabate is the one that loses his minutes, not Nick.
Sure. No, I think Diabate definitely loses minutes. But how many while Williams like works his way back? It could be perfectly fine for Richards, and like he plays. If he gets to 30 minutes, then I mean, great. He definitely has a ceiling because he's not facing off against a traditional center. He's facing off against, Yabusele, who even Nick Nurse has talked about. Like, I want to play him at power forward. I don't want to play him at center. So
yeah. So I don't mind Nick Richards here. I mean, do you feel the same way about Sarr as you do Valanciunas?
Yeah, I mentioned Sarr at power forward. The minutes were great.
Okay. The other Wagner's been a fantasy point per minute freak. 30 and 16. Obviously, this game against Brooklyn, the first time a little less with 28 and 18. Now, again, Carter's back, whatever, but if they're playing them both, there's room for backup minutes for Mo if you wanted to throw a dart there. Anybody else at center for you?
Yeah, I mean, you could play Adam Bona, who played nearly 20 minutes. He's going to be the backup center. Okay. Obviously, a low floor, but he's 3,500. And if he gets anywhere near 20 minutes, if Yabusele gets in foul trouble, I mean, we're looking at a guy who's mid salary who could play mid 20s minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is time to make a lineup. We've obviously talked a lot about this game here. I think we liked Barnes.
Yep.
Were we spending up anywhere in particular? Or do we settle in on one of the top 4 price guys, or are we going a little bit more fair and balanced here?
We don't have to. No, because we could do like Brandon Miller or
I mean, if we do 3 AK guys, we could do like a Maxey Miller Barnes lineup.
Yeah, or Miller Barnes Siakam.
Miller Barnes.
Or Maxey Barnes Siakam. Depending on, getting away from one of the.
Can we play all 3? if we only had
Micic was our $4,500 play, and then either Wendell Carter or Valanciunas or both, because you can play Carter at forward.
Yeah, Valanciunas.
I just don't think I don't think it's possible to do
31. We would need a Superman price play.
They don't exist.
Drew Eubanks, come on down. 10 minutes. Playing Seth Curry at all? Nope, not really. All right. So then we'll balk off.
We should probably move off one of the guys that are in a 208 total.
I moved off Maxey.
Okay. You could always move Micic back to point guard too if we wanted to.
Yeah, because like you said, it's a super low game total there. So, though again, I'm not really sure I agree with the low game total, but it is what it is. Vegas is not always wrong here. All right then. So we have 56.50 for a guard and a util.
Man, I hate this range.
It's not a good range. Well, you mentioned KCP.
I was gonna say, would you play KC? I was literally gonna say, would you play KCP?
And that gives us a 7K-er. I mean, just stack the 240 a game and hope Mathurin is the one that hits it,
or Miles Turner.
Do you have a preference of the two?
Turner probably has the higher block ceiling. Mathurin obviously has had like more 20 and 10 games. We've seen Turner go 30 and 10. I'd probably lean Miles Turner, but I don't care.
Okay.
I think they're pretty similar.
Yeah, I think Turner's probably the easier spot. We'll go there for now. Micic, Miller, Barnes, Siakam, Valanciunas, Caldwell Pope, Carter, and Turner. Example lineup for everybody here. Again, we'll have the full live show again at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get you all ready for this big slate. If you have any questions, make sure you get in that Discord. It is Cyber Week here at Fantasy Alarm, so you get the All-Pro package for monthly, half off, $19.98 a month. So you can get in that Discord. Try us out for free for 7 days. Scan that QR code and come join the family. We'll talk to you guys at 5.